Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be looking at the Battle of Britain. So this was right after Dunkirk. The evacuation of Dunkirk was a success. For the British at least. Unfortunately for the French, it wasn't, because most of them were just left there. I know, it's sad. But they did manage to get a few out, but I know. But anyway, sorry. So they got the British troops out, and they were kind of, they just got back, and the Great Britain was preparing for the Germans to come and bomb, and they actually were, because Hitler wanted to. So he's now taken over. He has now just taken over. Oh, sorry about that. So he's now just taken over France. So now he wants to take over the UK. So in order to do that, luckily they just captured France, so they can base bombers from France to hit the UK in a relatively short period of time. And the RAF managed to defend Great Britain from the German airplanes. So I'll take a look at the German airplanes used. So the first one to look at was the Dornier 17Z2. This was a bomber. And this one was it was pretty good. It was a good bomber. It held a relatively good payload. And then this one, I'm sure most of you know, is the Messerschmitt Me-109. And this was what the Luftwaffe would use to escort their bombers across the channel from the RAF. This airplane right here is a Ju-87 Stuka. They'd use this airplane to bomb radar stations, ships, and other things like that. And this one is probably this is the main bomber that they used during the Battle of Britain. This is a Heinkel 111. And this was like Germany's premier bomber during World War II. And then this is another model of the Dornier 17. This is kind of a reconnaissance / bomber aircraft. And this was also nicknamed the Flying Pencil because it resembled a pencil because of its skinny fuselage. And then the last German airplane that was used was the Bf-110. This was kind of a heavy fighter. Sometimes it's used as a night fighter in that role. So now I'll look at the RAF. So the RAF, by the time the Battle of Britain was over, they were about out of pilots. And they really needed help, but before they were relatively stocked up. I mean, they did suffer heavy losses over Dunkirk, so I'll be looking at them now. So the two main airplanes that were used, so they had the Hawker Hurricane, which was a good plane, and then they had the Supermarine Spitfire, and they were both really good airplanes. They were relatively fast, they were maneuverable, and they were armed pretty good. And the British, however, not a lot of people know this, but, however, the British did have some P-40s that were in reserve, just in case they would, they ran out of Hawker Hurricanes and Spitfires and stuff. And then, on top of the daylight bombing, Germany was kind of forced to fight at night, but luckily the British developed night fighters, like the Defiant, the Bolton Paul Defiant. It was kind of a relatively unsuccessful fighter during the day. They suffered heavy losses over Dunkirk, so it mainly found its main, kind of best job as a night fighter, because it was, after all, a dedicated bomber killer. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this video. Be sure to tell all your friends, like, subscribe, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.